In August 2017, the Saigon Heat front office made a change in hopes of a new culture of winning and modern style of basketball with the hiring of Kyle Julius. Previous head coach Anthony Garbalotto dedicated the previous 4 years prior not only to the Saigon Heat organization, but also the development of Vietnam basketball. Fans were shocked with news that fan favorite Lenny Daniel would be waived following successful seasons with the Heat. The move left many fans confused and raised suspicions regarding the front office's commitment. Little did fans know, something great was happening behind the scenes in preparation for the ASEAN Basketball League Season 8. They were about to witness one of, if not, the best season in franchise history. After 20 games under the guidance of Coach Julius, the Heat finished the regular season with a 10-10 record, good for the 6th spot in the regular season standings and the final playoff seed. It was a huge improvement in comparison to the 8-12 record last season, a record that managed to squeak into last season's playoff by the way of how bad the two bottom teams were, and especially given how much deeper and better the league got in Season 8 of the ABL. This year's edition of the Saigon Heat made a name for themselves as a heavy three-point shooting squad, setting a new record for the most three-pointers made in both a single game and season. All of those achievements were made possible by a modern offensive style of basketball that Kyle Julius has become accustomed to everywhere that he coached. A spread, fast-paced small ball system, a system in which the Heat have never before seen in the past. Let's take a look at some footage we gathered to see how this year's offense is different from last year's. Last season, Coach Garbalotto ran a traditional two-big system with Jordan Henriquez as the Heat's tallest player, trailed by Lenny Daniel at 6'8". Most of the team's offense was run through their two bigs with the ball being fed to the post, attempting to capitalize on their size advantages and athleticism to put points on the board. However, though the system may have looked good on paper and in theory, Garbalotto wasn't fully able to utilize the two in an efficient and effective manner, as the teams often suffer from spacing. On this play, three bigs all gathered on the same side of the court, which allowed the defense to sag back and clog the painted area. After giving the ball off to Daniel, Moses Morgan is giving little options, settling with lingering in the low post, further clogging the paint. Instead of better positioning himself for a potential finish at the rim, Henriquez darted towards Morgan's direction, essentially leading his man for a blocked shot. Taking a closer look, we can see how stagnant and poorly spaced the possession is. In comparison to this season, the Heats have assembled nearly a completely revamped roster, slotting 6'10" Maxi Esho into the 5 position while moving the 6'6" Morgan into the 4, with no other player standing taller than 6'3". With more thought-out player selections from Kyle Julius' spread offense, the ball often moves in a read and react philosophy until either a good look from beyond the arc is given or a layup opportunity opens up. Rarely do we see a possession which ends up in a highly contested, low percentage hook shot in the paint any longer. The problem with spacing and players becoming stagnant have just disappeared, with a lot more possessions having players spread across the floor and constantly on the move. Now it's pretty apparent that the Heat's current offense has created plenty of opportunities for three-point shooters, especially spot-up specialists. Among the Heat's lineup of players is a guy who has benefited and taken advantage of the system to the fullest extent, turning himself to a superstar by knocking down 41% of his three-point shot this season. That guy is Moses Morgan. Last season, he only averaged 14 points per game, converting on 33% of his field goal attempts, knocking down 29% on his outside shot. This season, he has upped those marks to 17 points per game while shooting 44% from the field, including 41% of his long ball. We decided to dive deeper into the footage to see just how he was able to improve on his previous season's scoring output while also becoming more efficient, thanks in large part to a more modern-day system. Last season, most of Morgan's three-point shots were catch-and-shoot opportunities as opponents either helped off of him while the ball was one pass away or left him open entirely in transition. However, these opportunities weren't plentiful considering the lack of offensive flow. With the design of this year's offense, he has been giving more catch-and-shoot opportunities from teammates Akeem Scott and Michael Williams, whose rim attack forced opposing defense to rotate and collapse. Morgan's game has also been given more looks in transition, with the aforementioned player and David Arnold pushing the ball, commanding more attention from opponents. In addressing Morgan's improvement on offense, we must also take into account how he's been guarded this year. The assignment of guarding him has been given to power forwards as opposed to small forwards last season, giving him a huge advantage since traditionally, power forwards aren't as adept to defending players outside the arc. The set plays are also better designed to utilize his skill set this season. Here we have a simple but effective set referred to as roll and replace, where a high ball screen is set and the screener, Maxi Esho, rolls to the basket while Morgan flashes down to receive the ball at the key. If opposing power forwards don't follow him out, an open look from the three is always guaranteed. This is a set that was run for Morgan last season called Floppy. Morgan is instructed to catch the ball after coming off a pin down screen, one of the most predictable and basic set piece in basketball, as it leads to a contested, inefficient mid-range jumper. There's no denying that the Heats are no longer the same team that we saw from last season. With an experienced and dedicated coach, and with a rising player that has made a huge jump just a year prior, the Saigon Heat are more than ready to take on future challenges. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like and share this video and comment below for any future ideas for the next episode. Cheers.